Alcoholism, man.
Alcoholism.
When when you have a problem.
When you know that you have a problem is when literally your life revolves around it. Literally, not just the weekend, every day of the week. That's when you know you have an alcohol problem.
Okay. I also think that I think you know you have a problem when you think you do.
When you what?
When you think you do.
Okay.
Yeah, like with anything, if you don't think you have a problem yet, then you probably don't. But when you think you do, then you're like, oh, maybe it's consumed my mind so much that I actually think that it hinders me. Um, and I mean, alcohol is a good drug, man. It's really nice. It dampens a lot of problems. Doesn't take them away. It just dampens them though. And
You're just in that state at that moment where you just feel like, okay, I'm at ease. And you
yeah,
just you enjoy that feeling at that certain time.
it makes you carefree. Yeah.
Hence, you find that, introverts, when they drink alcohol, you're like, whoa,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it kind of even it's a whole literature on it, but about like how it dampens anxiety, it dampens it increases your mood, um, dopamine effect and all these things. But like it gives you what you like. It makes you aggressive. It gives you what you would want to when you're sober.
Mm.
But then the problem with that is then it becomes a cycle, just like any drug. It gives you
I
that.
think when you start relying on it in order to have fun, so literally you can't have fun without involving it. That's when you should question that the relationship you have with alcohol, is it a healthy relationship, or is it the relationship you need to have with it?
And you find as well, Bernard, that's the reason why a lot of people that are in the lower class drink alcohol because if they think that they have more issues, then they can just drink alcohol because it's cheap or it's cheaper than most drugs, and then you can drink it and then not care about life, then wake up the next morning and do it again, and then it becomes a
Yeah.
cycle. And then every time you get sober, you drink again to go back to where you were, and then you go down, you drink again, and then you keep going, and you keep going, and then until you've been drinking for 10, 15, 20 years, and your kids are drinking, and nothing happens in life, and then you just get anger and anger in the cycle.
So you literally don't want to be in a sober state. You rely on it to live. You seen people who are alcoholics? They wake up saying they make sure they get their done. Whatever it takes. If they see a 10 rand hanging around in here, no, they'll take it because they need the plug for the day. And
Yeah,
it's not just only one leads to two, two leads to three leads to four. You can't get enough of it.
yeah. And I mean, I don't want to make it personal, but I know also like during tough times in your life or tough situations, you find that then your alcohol consumption is more. So counting like his others needs, you drink more, and then you find that then when things are going well, you drink less, or you drink at a constant amount. Because then it's like, okay, cool, I'm happy, I can drink, I'm fine now, I can have a glass of wine. Then as soon as tragedy comes, and then you decrease in your excitement level, then you drink more to boost them again.
Yeah.
Because your excitement levels are not increasing life in general, but alcohol is doing that. Then every time you get sober, then you realize you're going back. Oh no, let me go back up, and then it's then those
Yeah.
problems solve. And then you find that then you need to drink alcohol again to keep yourself there. The same with just general drugs. You feel like, oh, now I have to deal with life, and I have to deal with having a child, and I have to deal with um, family, I have to deal with parents. You know what? Let me just drink alcohol so I can forget about it. And then the kids are still there. Problems are still there.
I think that's why even when you're drunk, you tend to do the things you wouldn't normally do. Say like you just You've just been through a breakup and you're like, okay, now I'm drunk. Let me just send him this shitty message and tell him how I actually feel. Now you have the guts to do it. You're telling me all the things that you didn't like during the relationship, why you did that, how I feel, you know. It's a way of expressing yourself when you're drunk.
Yeah. So there was a question, there was a guy that asked me on one of the videos, but if I think if it's a psychosocial problem or why it's more prone to the poor or something like that, but something about like alcohol and like your socioeconomic status, and do you drink more if your socially economic status is lower and things like that. I think we just mentioned it now as well, but if you have if you have more problems, right, then you generally want to drink more to suppress them, né? But you don't actually then deal with the problems. You actually magnify it, because then tomorrow you wasted one day in trying to deal with it, and then you get even more anxious that they're still there. Oh my gosh! And you drink again, and that's why you find that those people don't drink expensive alcohol because they don't have the money for it, so they drink cheap alcohol, which then happens to be even stronger. And then you find that then that whole balance is just more alcohol, more stronger alcohol, and then your problems are still there, but they're getting they're getting compounded because you're not dealing with them, and then more problems are being added on, and then it's like a cycle. And then you find that then after a while, when you look at it and you think to yourself, do I have an alcoholic problem? It's like, well, do you actually have an alcoholic problem or the suppressive problem? Because now these things that you've been sweeping under the rug are so much that they're actually bigger than the alcohol problem that you have.
Yeah.
So then what is it to deal with? Is it the alcohol that you need to deal with, or do you need to deal with these problems? Or you deal with both of them, not equally, but you deal with both of them at the same time?
Okay, let's face this. So when you're drunk, how do you deal with your problems? It's either you become violent or you avoid them. So when you're drunk and you're trying to solve your problems, let's say you're having a problem endly, maybe with your spouse, and you drink alcohol. When you come home, you're already pissed at them. You want to be physical with them. You want to lash out. You're not solving it. But when you're sober and you actually take that person, and if you see that talking actually doesn't help, consult a counselor or therapist to actually help you guys if you really want to make it work.
Yeah.
So solving the problem, sober-minded, I think that's the shash for me.
Yeah, I think also like more people like more, obviously when you're drunk you're more physical, so therefore more murders and physical abuse victims and victimizers happen when you're drunk, right? It's like we needed the corona to kind of make us understand that alcohol is maybe not that great when you take it too much. That's why, there was less car accidents. Obviously the fact that there was less people on the road, but I mean there's still also less car accidents because there's less drunk drivers, and therefore there's less killings because of alcohol, there's less physical abuse and all of these sorts of things. And it's like, well, then the solution should actually then to all these problems be stop drinking alcohol or have a alcohol limit. And then the world's not ready for that, bro. We're like, nah, don't say that. Yeah, it's
true. I mean, I think the good alcohol is like the sanitizer. Okay. The good alcohol is the sanitizer. And
the cleaner.
Yeah, because during lockdown we were like, oh, okay, you can actually survive without alcohol. There was domestic violence because now you literally 24 hours inside the house with this person.
Yeah, but less likely if you're not drinking or they're not drinking.
Yeah, and there's less accidents. There's less rape percentages. Like everything was just, and now they're opening, it's level 1, and you start to realize that, okay, we're going back to the normal state. That's why now in traffic, people are getting their drinks spiked because they are just on that verge. I've been at home and I haven't been going out for such a long time, and people are taking advantage of that. They're buying you drinks and spiking them by traffic.
Yeah. So as a result, again, it's like you don't even have to drink or be you don't have to drink or you don't have to drink the alcohol to be related in problems that pertain it, because then it's just a high risk life. Because then you surround yourself with people that are high risk, and it's like, well, then what's the solution to it? You know, what's the solution to alcoholism or the solution to most of these issues? It's like, well, stop, stop selling alcohol. It's like, no, that's not gonna happen. So now what do we do then?
I think we can. I think we can. I mean, if we can just reduce it. I mean, also, you're going to go maybe going out, and you meet certain friends that are like, man, lungelo. Lecheri kwenza 1, 2, 3. No, man. Do this and that. Be a man. You're getting there with that. No, I'm the man of the house. Now the influence is here. It's here. It's driving you.
Yeah.
It tells you what to do. You know? And you start, that's why you notice that when the person is drunk and when they're sober, it's just two characters that are very different.
Yeah, it's a different personality.
Very different.
Yeah. So then what is then personality disorder? What is schizophrenia? If it can even change on someone that is not, don't have a mental illness, and then you go and you drink alcohol, then all of a sudden you're someone else. Is that alcohol-induced schizophrenia? Alcohol-induced bipolar?
I think it does. It does. It does. Because when you take a look at it, if you could, okay, I've never seen a person who's schizophrenic and drinks alcohol and becomes drunk. I've never. But just take a look at it, and what did actually do, it actually make them worse.
Yeah. You find that then, well, you know how it is, man. When you're drunk, you wake up the next morning, people tell you stuff that you're embarrassed about. Then you think to yourself, oh my God, who is that? And it's like, it's you. It's you, bro. It's someone that's inside you. And maybe you're schizophrenic on the alcohol. Same with people
And
that
I don't know. There's this saying that alcohol brings out the true you. I don't think that's true. I mean, when you see the videos after the night you've been drunk, you're like, oh my God, I really do that. Like, is that me?
Yeah.
So do you think it's possible to be another person, and do you think that's your real character when you're under the influence?
Well, then who is your real character?
Huh?
Who is your real character then?
So you think that it's a real character that's being revealed when you're under the influence?
I don't know if it is your real. Maybe you're scared to admit it, or maybe it isn't your real character. But I can't rule that out, because just because you spend more time sober and you are then your sober self, doesn't that mean that's also your real character? Maybe you just need alcohol to get the real you out, because then you find that most people then tell the truth when they're under the influence. So maybe that is their real character. So.
I'm 50-50 on that. I'm not really 100.
Admit, because look, if you did nice stuff when you were under the influence and more than when you were sober, then you would want that person to be your real self. But just because now when you're drunk you do crazy stuff, it's like, oh no, that can't be me. So if you got drunk and then you started donating and finding, like, you know, real life solutions and things like that, and people, when you wake up and people say to you, oh my gosh, then you found this whole cure for cancer, you'd be like, oh my gosh, that is really neat. But that's not what happens. You wake up and then they tell you stuff that you don't want to, you know, have conversations about, then you say, oh, that can't be me.
I mean, I wouldn't say it brings out your true character, but as I've said, I'm 50-50 on that. Because, man, I've just seen people just being totally different. I mean, from a person who's like a Christian, and when they drunk, like, hi, what is happening?
Hey, man. Okay, we'll finish this off later, okay?
Okay.
All right.